Susan Hall is the Tory candidate for London Mayor. She's also been the victim of a horrific crime. Speaking to LBC's Nick Ferrari, Hall laid out exactly what happened.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm the luckiest woman in the world because I've actually got it back. But I just did a normal journey, and same thing with lots of people that are pickpocketed or whatever. You just get to the end of your journey and realise that you don't have your Oyster or your pass or whatever. And that's what happened to me. And I had no idea where it could have gone. I have very, very deep pockets in my winter coat, which I keep it in, or I kept it in. I will never do that again. I'll lock it in my handbag. It wasn't there. I had on one of the trains that I went on, somebody was fiddling around beside me and pushing and shoving, and I'd assumed that that's where it had gone. But when I got home, because in my Oyster card holder, I've also got my business card, somebody phoned me and said he'd seen somebody sitting on it. Most odd. He'd asked him if it was his. I just don't get it. Asked him if it was his. He said no, it wasn't. So he said, well, give it to me. So the chap took it and saw my number. So I'm very, very lucky.
So just to get this straight, Susan Hall has been described by LBC as the victim of a pickpocket, but somehow the pickpocket ended up sitting on her purse and then someone returned it to her. I really hope you're coping, Susan. At that point, Detective Nick Ferrari wanted a bit more detail.
Where did you board the tube and where were you going?
Westminster, back to Pinner. So Jubilee line and then onto the Metropolitan line.
What sort of time of day was it?
Oh, this was mid-afternoon.
How crowded was the tube carriage?
Not like it is in the morning. I mean, people were standing, but...
and you get home, presumably, you go to get your oyster, presumably, to get off the train. That's when you go to you get off the train, you get to the barrier, and suddenly you realise you've been robbed.
Well, you realise it's not where it was, and you have no idea what's happened. And I mean, obviously, doing what I do, I know just how bad pickpocketing is on the Underground. It was the highest year ever last year. I was so cross with myself, Nick, because I thought, I should lock these things away in my handbag, and I certainly will in future. And I hope anybody listening does do that. Put it where, with a zipper over the top, so it can't be just taken out of the pocket.
So what time was the journey? Where were you sitting? No, we should take this very seriously. And that is sound advice. Put your purse in your handbag and zip it up so you don't leave it on the seat next to someone for them to sit on. Still, a close call. Wait till you hear what Hall actually had in her precious purse.
So, Susan, you have your purse back minus what? Your Oyster card and your credit cards and cash? What's gone?
No, I don't keep credit cards in there. It's just literally the Oyster card and a business card, or a couple of business cards I keep in there.
Right.
So I'm very, very lucky, unlike many others.
So the Oyster card's gone and your cash has gone?
No, the Oyster card was still in there.
Oh, you've got everything.
I only keep the Oyster card in there. I see.
And the cash was still in there?
There was some cash in there and that was still there.
So this is all credit to the bloke who saw what was going on and said, "Oi, is that your purse?" or whatever.
Well, he saw it. I wasn't there.
No, of course.
So the answer is I have no idea.
Okay.
Yes. The answer is that you still have no idea. I'm sorry. Okay, you know what? Let's keep going. Still, Nick Ferrari had a burning question for that mayoral candidate.
Let's put this into a political aspect. What does this mean for crime for the regular Londoner trying to go about his or her job, trying to ride the Underground or the bus or indeed an overground train? And what does it mean for what you might bring to the dynamic were you to be successful next year?
Well, we've got to look at it. In Sneak Cons London, thefts are up 31%, robberies are up 58%. Last year was the highest year for pickpocketing on the Underground. So I'd say to your listeners, please, just make sure you keep everything very safe. I was furious with myself that it had gone.
State of Sadiq Khan's London, where people will make a real effort to return your lost property to you when it falls out of your pocket on a train. Just want to take a second as well. Susan Hall had her property returned straight to her. I had to pay £5 when I left my wallet on London TfL trains, because if you lose your wallet on TfL and it gets handed into a TfL thing, they charge you money. Susan Hall actually didn't get robbed by Sadiq Khan's London. I got robbed by Sadiq Khan's London.
You were robbed by Sadiq Khan's London.
I'm the real victim in this. Ash, what do you make of this incredible microcosm of a more? I felt like I was tripping watching that.
It was sort of, it was kind of amazing. It's like you learn of an event, and then through this sort of wonderfully woven narrative, you realize that no event took place at all. So it's kind of like, there's something Christopher Nolan-esque about it. It's like you go to see a movie and the real twist is that there is no movie. There is no plot, there is no story, nothing happened.
I watched Barry Lyndon at the weekend by Stanley Kubrick, and it sort of reminded me of that, or Football Factory, 2 films in which I would say there's no... I mean, Barry Lyndon has more of a character arc, but Football Factory, which stars Danny Dyer, the one about the football hooligans in Millwall, has absolutely no character arc. Characters are exactly the same, apart from the ones that have died at the beginning as they are at the end. It ends, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but it ends in exactly the same position. Almost nothing happens despite a couple of events. That was Susan Hall telling the story of how she left her wallet on the tube and got it returned to her soon afterwards. Amazing.
I don't want anyone to yell at me, but you know what it kind of reminds me of? Like, it reminds me a bit of Virginia Woolf novels, and then also novels which are about Virginia Woolf novels, like The Hours, because it's sort of like a woman's walking around and something nearly happens, but it doesn't quite, but she still feels really fucking anxious about it. And that's the whole novel. Susan Hall, God bless her, has either by accident or by design created a modernist masterpiece. And for that, chapeau.
Chapeau indeed. We also showed there that your reference point is Virginia Woolf and my reference point is the Danny Dyer 2004 masterpiece Football Factory.